Hi, I'm Laura Lively. Welcome to you and all of your parts. I would like to talk about the need to work with our parts in real time. I spend a lot of time discussing how important it is to do daily check-ins with your parts, and I recommend that you do that. Add it into a morning or evening routine that you might have, maybe with the first sip of coffee in the morning, maybe as your head hits the pillow at night, check in and see how's it going. Maybe as you're going down the hall to go to the restroom, check in. How am I feeling right now? I think those are really important. But it's also important to learn how to work with your parts in real time when they get activated. And so I wanted to share with you, I'm going to make a recommendation that you go find. It was a Sounds True video. It was like an hour and 12 minutes. Sounds True video with Dick Schwartz, who is the founder of IFS, and Liz Gilbert, who the author of Eat, Pray, Love, and also Big Magic. And they were doing an interview. You may have to sign up. You may have to give them your email address in order to listen to it, but it was a really good interview. They talked about all sorts of really cool things, talked about 12-step. They talked about recovery. They talked about guides. And so it's a really good interview. At about an hour and 7 minutes, Liz Gilbert walks through what it was like for her in real time when she got the invitation to do actually do the interview with I think her name's Tammy from Sounds True and Dick Schwartz. And it was really cool to watch somebody actually share with an audience what it was like, which parts they talked to, what they said, how they decided to move forward. So I thought that was fun, and it's not that often that you see it happen. And I thought I would share with you. I will pop a link into the notes so that you can get to that. Otherwise, you can also always email me and ask me for it, or just Google it. Liz Gilbert, Dick Schwartz, Sounds True. There is a shorter video on YouTube that's like 16 minutes. You want the hour and roughly 13 minutes video that will actually have where she at an hour and 7 minutes walks through her parts. Having said that, I wanted to walk through with you something that happened to me recently where I was having two conversations. I was having the external conversation with the person, but my parts were getting activated. And so I'm having an internal dialogue with them as well. So I was out with a group of women, and one of the women, we were talking about COVID. And I don't, for any of you that have been following me any length of time, you know that due to a family situation, I have pretty much been a shut-in throughout COVID. So for the worst few years of COVID, I went nowhere without a mask. I quarantined anytime I went on a business trip and came back because I did not want to give COVID to my family members. And so as we were talking at this dinner, a woman said, "Oh, you've had COVID. You just don't know it." And my parts were like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "No, I have not had COVID." And she said, "Really? How do you know?" And I was like, "I just know I haven't had COVID." She's like, "There's no way you haven't had COVID. You've just had it, and you're one of those people that didn't have symptoms." And I have to tell you, my parts were starting to lose their mind in my head, right? They were like, "How dare she? Who the heck does she?" That's not what they said exactly, but who the heck does she think she is? And I I'm trying to hold a face, right, as I'm listening to her. And then she said, "Well, have you had an antibody test?" And I was like, "No." "Then you don't know that you haven't had COVID." And again, my parts are like, roar. So for those of you who might not know, I live next door to my mother. She has a lot of comorbidities. We spent the worst years of COVID locked down. And my parts were just losing their mind at this woman. And so finally, I heard in my head, "This has nothing to do with you, parts, right? This is her. This is her opinion, and you are not going to change it." And the truth was, no, I have not had an antibody test. So I guess, something I use with my inner critics, and I actually ended up using it with her, was I said, "You might be right. maybe I've had COVID and I don't know it because I've not had the antibody test. Then I got to tell you, my parts were reacting and popping and they were on a live wire. It was so much fun in my head. And what I said to them to calm them down, and I was like, this has nothing to do with us. This is her. This is her story about people and COVID. And you are not going to change her mind because the truth is you've not had that test. So I was able to like walk my system back from a reactionary situation where they would have gone full bore, I can tell you. And so sometimes that's what we have to do, because it is lovely to check in with our parts throughout the day and, at least once in the morning and, in a perfect world, once in the evening. How's it going? How's everybody doing? But when they get activated like that, that's when we need to be able to recognize that a part is active. That's when we need that awareness that I have got a part that's about to lose their mind. I want to be able to acknowledge, yeah, I get you're upset. I get that this is frustrating. I get that you want to like rip her a new whatever, right? Like, it's okay. I am here with you. I will help get us out of this situation. It's going to be okay. It's all right. We don't need to argue about this. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. Let me know what you think. I would love to know if you've had situations where you've been able to work with your parts and keep from having that kind of emotional reaction to something that's happening, coming at you externally. So until next time, love to you and all of your parts.